Daniel, a hard-fought game that today. Probably a little unfortunate to come away with nothing. What's your initial reaction?
Yes, very unfortunate. So first overriding feeling is, of course, we are disappointed because we're playing for results. There are no pictures in the table. You want to win points. And this is why we play football, and for that we are disappointed. Apart from this, I have to say just many compliments, nearly congratulations to the lads for this performance, because after this game I would be normally disappointed even with a draw, not even to speak about a loss. We were the better side today. We were the better side in all aspects. We had more possession, we had more passes, we had more expected goals, we had more shots, we had more shots on target, we had more big chances created, we had more big chances missed, we had more corners. In each every aspect, we were the better side today. But yeah, football is decided by goals. Sadly, we missed too many of the good chances today in the first half and the second half, and we allowed ourselves in each halftime one bit clumsy loss of the ball. First half, bit unnecessary loss of the ball. Yes, on this level, each every little mistake is punished. Not always unlucky like today, because first half was also deflected strike out of a situation that was not dangerous at all, I would say. But if the ball is deflected like this, it's difficult in the second half. Of course, out of good intention, Gabi wants to win the first touch, wins the first touch, but then slips away, and then out of this was then more or less like a pass into the center for Kudus, I think. And then it was also punished with a deflection, and otherwise the ball also wouldn't have gone in. It's tough today for my lads, because they scored 2 goals more or less a bit out of nothing. And I think about our situations first half: Joe Roden against the crossbar, against the post, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, big chance, Sean Longstaff, big chance. Second half, same more or less again. Sean Longstaff with a great shooting position, great saves from Vicario against Joel Pirot, against Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the ball through the box, 2 inches missing, Pascal's headers. It should have scored 3 or 4 today, but was not to be, and for that, of course, we are disappointed.
Is that the message to the lads then? Look, you play like that every week, we're going to be fine.
With winning more points, yes, because if you always dominate games and don't win points, then it will be difficult. But I've said this several times as a manager. I can't just pray for results or bake some results. What I can do with my lads is deliver performances, and this is what we did today. It doesn't take anything away that we have to take then also the chances, and yes, hope of course that the opponent's goalkeeper is not always man of the match with unbelievable saves. Would like to think that in 2 or 3 situations we should have hit the target with the good chances, but yeah, we have to be a bit more clinical and in the finishing positions. And I also hope that not each and every mistake is then punished with a deflected strike somehow. But we played today one of the top sides in this country, who are currently sitting in the top 4, who are playing on Champions League level anyway, who have top class quality, also what they are capable to bring in from the bench, and then to be the better side, to have the better of them really in all aspects, not like to have a tight game and to be in the game, but also to dominate this, at least in many periods. Can't do this in every period, but in many periods. This is what is quite encouraging. This is also what I like to see, and what I'm also proud of how far we have come as a club, and also as a team, that we are capable to dominate on this level. And for that, many compliments to the lads. The only thing is what we have to add is to score a few more goals out of our big situations.
Graham?
Daniel, was there any frustration today with the officiating? It felt like it changed from everything being let go in the first half to being whistled.
I have to be a bit careful. I also don't like to comment it in public. I think last time we had this referee was also a big talking point, and I think we received a formal letter anyhow. But again, I don't want to go into this topic, don't want to comment it too much. Anyhow, I leave it with other people to comment about the performance of the referee. I concentrate on what I can influence, and what I can influence is the performance of my lads, and this was quite well. Of course, a bit was to improve, to be a bit more clinical, to play perhaps without one mistake per halftime in possession. This is what I'm concentrate on our performance, not of the performance of the officials. Sorry.
Is there a danger in Dominic Calvert-Lewin getting frustrated in the fact that he's doing all this hard work, he's helping you build and create chances, but it's not dropping
No, shouldn't be a danger. Also, again, good performance. Also, he played a major part in the first goal today. Again, great to hold up the ball and a good assist to Brennan, who then took this strike. Good workload again for the team. Again, yes, of course, the first half probably should hit the target. Yeah, that the goalkeeper is in there was a top save, and he's in perhaps 2 inches missing when the ball went through the box. Of course, it's a bit frustrating, but that's a fate of a striker. I was a striker myself, so sometimes you have the spirits when you find it a bit more difficult. I'm happy with his performance. If he right now thinks too much about goals and wants to force it too much, it will never work. So what he has to do is more like, come on, exactly what he does. Work for the team, relentless workload, bring yourself into good positions. And then sometimes you need also a bit of luck and perhaps a deflected strike or a scruffy goal. And then you find it a bit more easy. Yes, he had good chances and could have scored or perhaps should have scored also today. But we're all happy to have him, and it was another good performance of him.
That's the toughest assignment Gabby's had this season so far?
Yes, it's tough for Gabi because he's excellent in his performances. Also, like how he defended, really a top winger today was outstanding. He was just unlucky somehow, yeah, because it's a good attention. He wants to win the first touch and not like to let his opponent more or less to get the first ball, and then he has to defend him in a 1-against-1 on the wing. Of course, if you have this outcome, you would like to think, come on, let the opponent go, and then you defend him on the wing, and nothing will happen out of this because you have defended him during the whole game. Yeah, he decided to touch the first ball and then slipped away. He was just unlucky, so nothing to moan about. Yes, yeah, probably 2 tough games within the last 3 weeks it was anyhow, but sometimes you can't choose, and that is then also punished with a deflected strike. Yeah, sometimes it's written in the stars. It shouldn't dwell on it, and also doesn't have to think too much about it.
When you have misfortune against Fulham, Bournemouth today in some regard, what can you say to the players so that they don't feel like they're a hard luck story and they can sort of don't get into that mode, if you like?
Not much. So my message also like not moan about it too much and think about what if could be. We are a newly promoted side, and if you would have won every point that we deserve, we would be there with probably, I would say at least 6 points more during the season. Then we would be would be the talking point and would be in the top 4. But this is also not realistic, and it's also quite normal that sometimes you drop. You can't drop points, but you are unlucky not to win more points. And this is, if you then think about it and doubt yourself or feel sorry for yourself, this is then when you struggle also to deliver performance like this. So it's more like I told them, listen, yes, of course we are disappointed because there are no pictures on the table, but you don't, in 5 minutes, you don't even have to think about this game anymore. Yes, there are a few details we spoke about in terms of possession. Don't underestimate a little situation, don't give it away, a bit more clinical in front of the goals. But if you overthink this situation is too much, if I tell right now Joe Rowan, you have to score out of this and don't have to hit the post, or like I mentioned, Dominic, just concentrate on scoring goals, not on performances, it will never work. So it's just like deliver performances like this and we will be fine.
Isaac?
Can you just take us through your thinking of the source towards the end? Obviously, you've got Lucas and Joel on. Was it just a case of just trying to throw attacking options on?
Yes, it was tricky today because I just had one winger on the bench with Jack Harrison. You know that Noah Okafor is not in the physical state to play 90 minutes already on this level. So from after a hour mark, you always have to be careful with him because he's still on his way to adapt a bit to English football. And then yes, of course, you wouldn't also have a second winger, and it would have been a bit easier also like to have perhaps Willie and Daniel James also available today. Also like, yes, Harry Gray, you can also play sometimes from the wing. Or it would have been a bit easier today than to stay in your structure. But I then took the decision out of this problem to take it more or less as a chance, and then to change the base formation to a 3-5-2. At least we had then three central strikers on the pitch, or a little bit behind the 2 central strikers, to work a bit more with crossing situations, and also against their setup. It fit today because they played against the ball a 4-4-2 very often, and then with 3 players in the build-up we could play a bit around. Today it was possible also to change, and we are prepared also for this. We know what we have to do if we change to a 3-5-2 due to our work also in pre-season, and for that we tried out of this bit difficult situation to take it even as little it wanted to change it, also a bit unexpected. And yeah, would have liked if one ball would have gone in, Joel's strike, for example, or one of Pascal's headers in the end. I think was also pretty close to a penalty call in the end. Yes, unlucky it was not to be, but that was the thinking.
Are there any injury concerns? I saw his calf
He had a little problem during the week. Missed one training session, but nothing major. So for that, I think it was just that he was getting tired after then 85 minutes. He was also good in the game. So no major concerns today. Thank God we can't afford many more injuries.
Stuart.
Daniel, as you mentioned, you feel over the course of the season you worth six more points in terms of performances. Do you sort of look at that and just feel that if you play the same way, your luck will even itself out, or is that too simplistic?
Over mid and long term, I'm a big believer. It's more like that, or then it's really equal. And I'm also pretty sure that there is also sometimes a game when we win a point lucky, because we've not won 1 point so far lucky, but we've lost, not won, I would say really at least 6 points, a bit unlucky anyhow. So it's not on the short-term period, and especially not in the beginning of the season as a newly promoted side. But if you deliver for the immature performance like we did so far, then I'm pretty sure it will also equal more or less, perhaps not as much in comparison to a really mature top team anyhow, but it won't go like this that you never win a point lucky and you always are then on the unlucky side. So in the mid and long term, I'm pretty sure it will be more or less equal.
And as you know, whenever a team's got scoring goals, there's a lot of focus on the number 9. But how important is it that other people don't sort of hide behind the responsibility of goals going into?
I wouldn't label it that we didn't score goals. So I think 6 goals in the last 3 games is pretty good for a newly promoted side. And of course, rated by the chances that we have created, we could have been there with 12 goals out of the last 3 games. But it's also perhaps not realistic that you use each and every situation. So again, could also speak about it was a bit unnecessary to give the ball away in the first half, or a bit unlucky that Gabi slipped away, and then you would have won this game perhaps 1-0. So it's also what we've done against Everton so far. I also would like to return back to our clean sheet behavior. So we don't give many chances away. But I wouldn't blame. It's just like we have to score more goals. We have created many chances. Yes, we have to be a bit more clinical, but also not to lose our compactness and being rock solid at the end of at the other end. And of course, it's important that it would have helped today if Joe would have had the ball in, for example, or Sean Longstaff, who normally is capable to score goals. He had 2 fantastic shooting positions, would have helped today, but was not to be. And everyone is invited also to chip in with goals. Yes.
Mark.
Daniel, Aronson covered so much ground today. Do him the world of it because he was given warm applause when he came on.
I think you could see in the last games that his confidence is growing. Also, the last performance anyhow was excellent. Also involved in many things. We are asking a bit more, always like come on, a bit less complicated, a bit more straight, and be involved in end products. But also today he wasn't there with a good assist or with a great strike, which was more or less an assistant for Noah Okafor, will be also quite important for his self-confidence. But he's a winger then for us in this season, and especially on the winger position, you also have to accept if you then mix it up sometimes after 60, 70 minutes, and this is what we did then also with Jack Harrison, who was also there with many good performances when he came in so far. But I would think it was another decent performance also from Bren. Not perfect. There's always something, can be sometimes a bit less complicated, a bit more straight and a bit more effective, but we are all happy that we have him right now, and his work rate is never in doubt.
Anyone else? Thanks, everyone.
Good. Have a nice break. Thank you.